Hi guys. I know it's been a little while. Bear with us. I'm in a new place right now. I'm on vacation, but we know we wanted to give you guys some plays while I'm on vacation. So welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. That's Ari. I'm Korea. I know it's been a while. We're not going to recap. It's been a while. It's been pretty much almost a week now. So we're just going to get right into today. We have pretty much some good plays for you today. Here are my two best bets for today. Obviously, not that much of a big card today. I will be having a Champions League parlay posted on Twitter momentarily as well. But here are my two picks today. First, oh God, horrible game of the day. I'm taking Arkansas State to cover plus 4.5 on the road at Louisville. I'm going to be fading Louisville all season. This team is so atrocious. They have no sense of togetherness. They're one of the worst scoring teams in the country. And don't get me wrong, Arkansas State is, but that line's going the wrong direction. And Arkansas State has a little bit better defense in terms of how they play. I like Arkansas State in the spot. Look, when you look at Louisville and you look at how bad their offense is, right? They don't really have any sense of direction. They were one of the best teams in the nation not even 10 years ago, and now they're just an abysmal show of themselves. And that line's going in the wrong direction for Louisville. And, defense travels. And I like this Arkansas State team. They've had a little bit of a tough schedule. They played, teams like Wisconsin. I think they played Baylor one time. And, that's a hard schedule. That's not easy for anyone. But, Arkansas State, they've pretty much gone through the gauntlet. And I'd say this is an easier one. That line opened at 5.5. It's going down to 4.5. I think I've seen it as low on some books as 3.5. Look, this Arkansas State team, is not good, but we're just going to keep fading Louisville all season because Louisville – this team lost to New Mexico State, who only had 4 players on the court because they all got fouled out. This New Mexico State should not even been close. That's how bad this Louisville team is. So Arkansas State, we're taking them at plus 4.5. I would not sprinkle the money line. I'm not that confident in this team. It's just going to be an ugly game. If I did have a second lean, I also would take the under. I think this game's going to be really low scoring. Like I said, both really bad offenses. And, when you look at their field goal percentage, bottom of the country, 40-something percent, barely shooting 30%. And, that's not going to be any recipe for you. So give me Arkansas State plus 4.5 on the road. And then in my other best bet, Ari, I know we literally just talked about this. You got the other team on the money line. I'm taking them just to cover the spread. I'm taking Santa Clara plus 2.5 tonight. Look, I know Utah State should win this game. They will probably win this game, but I think Santa Clara makes it close. I think the Santa Clara team is really underrated right now, just the way they've been playing. They've had a little bit of a tough schedule, but, that line is going in their favor, and I do like home dogs in the spot. Now, obviously, Utah State, better team holistically in terms of how they play offense and stuff, but, the Santa Clara team is very sneaky. They have one of the better offenses in pretty much in the what conference? West Coast. Oh, my gosh. I completely forgot what conference in the West Coast Conference. And, I like taking these home dogs at home. Just because, home court plays such a big advantage. And for this game, even though, when you look on paper, Utah State should be winning this game maybe by like 3 or 4, that line is going in the wrong direction. I think Santa Clara is a sneaky team. I think they're one of the sneaky teams in this West Coast Conference that actually could, maybe beat, maybe like a St. Mary's or a BYU in terms of, how much talent there is in that West Coast Conference. When you look at Utah State, and obviously one of the better teams on the Mountain West historically, behind San Diego State, Colorado State having a great year this year. But, this is a really bad spot for them. I hate, backing these teams on the road, especially when that line's going in the wrong direction. And, when that line is starting to go in the wrong direction in terms of the spread, that kind of makes me want to indicate that, Santa Clara may make this a really fun game. So I'm just taking Santa Clara to back them on the point spread. I think some books have it as low as 1.5. I've seen that 3.5. It's kind of in that 1 to 3 range. So I'm just going to take it at 2.5, right in the middle. I think that's a great line for them. Maybe get a 2-point game, near the end. I think that's going to, be one of the better games on the slate tonight in an ugly Wednesday card. But Ari, I know I was rambling about my two best bets for this very small Wednesday. What do you got cooked up on this Wednesday?
Yeah, I have 2 as well. I'll start off with the NBA. Pelicans facing the Wizards. We faded the Wizards a lot on here. They've lost 14-15, and their only win came against the Pistons, who are on a 20-game losing streak. So it's not really saying much for that one win. I'm isolating the first half here because if you look at the first half numbers this year, which I think mean more than the first quarter, like the first quarter can be a little bit more tricky, but first half, I think 2 quarters is kind of at least a big enough sample size to, be able to use numbers on the season in that regard. And if you look at the first half numbers, New Orleans is sixth in scoring, and the Pistons are scoring the second least points in the first half. And then if you look at points allowed in the first half, the Pelicans are sixth fewest points allowed in the first half. So, I think the Pelicans do cover. I think it's 7.5 the full game, but I'm just isolating the first half because I think that there's more of an edge just based off those numbers here. But the Pelicans should win by 10 plus. But again, forgetting it out with the Pelicans in the first half here against the Pistons against the Wizards that only win the last 15 games came against the Pistons and for them. So, and then I'm going, you talked about Santa Clara. I'm going Utah State in the money line. So obviously there's a way where we can both win, in this one. You talked about Arkansas State and defense traveling, and that's why I like here at Utah State. They're, at least on the season, they're the better defensive team, better shooting team. Santa Clara is definitely a fun team. They're led by Adama Ball, who transferred from Arizona, and now he's getting his chance to shine in Santa Clara, so that's fun to see. And I definitely agree that they can make some games fun with some of the teams in their conference this year. I just like Utah State. I'm not taking them on the spread like we both said. I'm just taking them on the money line just to win here. They've won, I think, 8 in a row. Their only loss in the year came against a decent Bradley team. Santa Clara is 5-0 at home, so home court, they have the advantage there. I think that's why the spread is where it's at and not big. I think usually you get like 3 points or so, for home court advantage, generally. So I think they could be like on a neutral court, like a 4-point favorite, something like that, 4 or 5 point favorite. So yeah, I'm mistaking them Utah State on the money line here to keep on their winning ways. Again, I like their defense. Defense travels. They've been pretty efficient at the shooting team as well. So hopefully we can both cash in this game.
Yeah, you mentioned the Pelicans. Look, the Wizards are going to be the worst team. Them and the Pistons. They are contending for who's going to be the worst team in the NBA. But you mentioned the Pelicans. Very defensive team, 6 fewest points in the NBA for that first quarter in the first half. And, against a Wizards team that just struggles to shoot the ball, we've seen that 1-2 punch of Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma be pretty much the worst rated duo in the NBA. And, fading the Wizards all season is going to be a great play. Like I'm fading Louisville all season, just 2 bad teams. I like the Pelicans to cover that first half, as kind of we've been all doing all season, get out for that first half. So Pelicans first half. Then Utah State, look, you mentioned Utah State, better defensively, they are, better offensively, they are. Santa Clara being 5-0 at home, does play a big role in that. But you mentioned, if it was at a neutral court, Utah State would probably be a little bit more considerable favorites just because of the fact that it is at a neutral court. But, home court really plays a big role. So I would take Utah State money line as well. I think, they do get the job in this. But, like I said, home court is definitely going to play a big factor, especially throughout this season. So, with that spread going the wrong direction, maybe just want to take Santa Clara on the spread. But, I do like Utah State in the money line. Hopefully we can both cash that. Hopefully maybe Utah State only wins by 2 or 1. So we both have winners there. And then Pelicans first half, I like that as well. Fading the worst team in the NBA. And then back to mine, like I said, Santa Clara plus 2.5. I like them to cover that. I think that's around maybe 120 or 130. And then Arkansas State plus 4.5. And then it's around the same thing, just fading Louisville. Louisville has one of the worst programs in NCAA in Power 5 NCAA Division 1. They're just not good, especially in this home spot. And then, like I said, Arkansas State, the better defensive team, not greatly defensively better, but, interior defense is a lot better. I think they're 50th in the country in blocks per game, so they can definitely have some great rim protection, down low against this Louisville team that cannot shoot. So I like those 2 plays for myself. Going back to Ari's plays, those are 2 great plays. And then obviously, all these plays can be posted on our Twitter below AKP Sports Talk, along with our Champions League parlay. That'll be posted momentarily, but that's going to do it for this quick episode of AKP Sports Talk. We'll be back tomorrow for, obviously, another video. Thursday Night Football, here we go again. Chargers, Raiders. Woo-hoo. Don't worry, we got some more. But, Easton Stick versus Aiden O'Connell, the matchup nobody wanted. But
we didn't think it would get worse from last week, and it did.
Yeah, it's just going to get worse and worse with all these injuries. But we're obviously going to have our best bets for that game. Obviously, we have a better college basketball slate a little bit tomorrow, and it's along with the NBA. And then we're getting near that time, college bowl season. It's that time of year, bowl season. Obviously, just a few days away, so we're going to be having some of our best bets potentially for all bowl games because it's going to be almost every day starting on Saturday. But that's going to do it for this episode. That is Ari. I'm Korea. Thank you guys so much for coming back with us. Travel is not the easiest thing, but we are definitely trying to make this work now. But now we'll be back, pretty much more every day. Back more consistent schedule. Now that I'm more acclimated in my setting. But that is Ari. I'm sorry for rambling, guys. I'm Korea. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.